I didn't think the game was as dismal for Kyle Shanahan as many are making it to be.
I think the fact that you said there's really no separation between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan as a coach, I think is actually a great way to say it, because I think that Kyle Shanahan is in sort of the Andy Reid torture zone of where he was at one point in his career, where it's like, can't win the big one. And then you know what? Andy Reid wins one, and then he wins two more. Like, obviously he got Mahomes, and that he's not any fundamentally different as a coach. He got the one thing that you need, and like now he's a 3-time champion, and he's going to have a great argument if he sticks around throughout Mahomes' time there, which is, no guarantee. I don't think Andy Reid's. We talk about him retiring seemingly every Super Bowl, and then he seems to be like, yeah, no, I'm not retiring. Ownership is like, yeah, we're not expecting Andy to go anywhere. So there's a chance Reid gets 1, 2. I mean, damn, he might get 3 more Super Bowls. He's going to have an argument to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach in NFL history. If he continues to win more Super Bowls, he'll be able to push Belichick and some of these other guys in that argument. Like that's very possible. And I think there's a world where Kyle Shanahan, who's, I don't even know off the top of my head, like, how old is Kyle Shanahan? I'm looking at it right now. I mean, he's 44 years old.
Yeah.
he's what, like almost 30 years younger than Andy Reid, 25 years younger than Andy Reid. Like, again, we got a long way to go in Kyle Shanahan's history, but that doesn't make missed opportunities like this one any less painful. The fact that you will get back, like, for coaches, it's just different with players. If you continue to chop this wood, you can potentially get back at another Super Bowl. But maybe not this group of the 49ers, which again, we'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, I'm with you, Andy, that like there's a lot of things that I think Niners fans and people, the players and anyone associated with the team will be haunted by. Like, there are ghosts that will haunt them from this game. The missed PAT, the block PAT, whatever you want to say, the muffed punt that hits the player's foot, and then Ray McLeod kind of has to go for it. The not getting points off Kansas City's turnovers. But the coaching stuff to me isn't like, there were moments where I was like, why aren't they running the ball more? I wanted them to run the ball more, but at the same time, L'Jarius Sneed, I think it was, said it after the game. I believe he said it to Steven Ruiz, or he was the one I thought I saw put it out there. Like, the blitz heavy game plan that Kansas City unfurled on defense was to present fronts that disincentivize them running the ball. Like, you can run the ball and run it really well, but you don't want to run it into inadvantageous fronts. You want to take advantage of that with your drop back pass game. And like, the defense gets paid too. You don't just get to come up and to the line and like push the right buttons and go. So I don't even know that that's a big thing to pin on Shanahan at the end of the day. But I'm with you, Andy, that the moment I was concerned for the 49ers was the first 2 drives when CMC, who never fumbles, fumbled the ball. When Trent Williams, these are 2 of their best players. Trent Williams has back-to-back penalties that kill that second drive. Like, that's the thing with the Chiefs, and why I think that missed opportunities and like small moments make the difference, all the difference in the world in football, man, because that player on the other side, that team on the other side is the one guy you can't leave. You leave even a crack of the door open, and he's going to come smashing through that thing like he's a damn Kool-Aid man, okay? And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, there's a lot there to react to. One of them, like, I also just want to say, like, Shanahan, there were some really good calls in that game. Like, that going for it on 4th and 3 and coming out of that drive with a touchdown was pretty inspired. And like you mentioned the muff punt, which is as close to a, it's a gaff, but it's almost like a no fault situation, right? That's not somebody, that's not some huge blunder by someone necessarily. Right. And they overcame it. Like, Kansas City scores off that, and then you're like, oh man, here we go. And then the Niners came back and scored. Like, the Jennings to CMC pass was inspired. Like, I don't think it was that rough a game from the Niners coaching staff. I think it was just a classic game where, like, a couple of imperfect teams. The other thing that triggered something with me when you said it was, like, I know people were raging that there weren't more rush attempts in the second half when you went in with a small lead. I get it. But they also very quickly got into like some bad down and distance situations like early in the second half too, right? And some of those were related to penalties, and some of those were related to like, I don't know, like if we're some of the friendliest scenarios for Brock Purdy to pass the ball are going to be first downs, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. I don't hate coming out in the second half and giving, if your idea is we're going to present Brock Purdy with some very friendly situations in which to get some passes completed, I don't like that. That's probably first down. That's probably not third and long. So I didn't hate it in real time. And then you get to the end of the game and man, McCaffrey had 30 touches. Like, it's not like they went away from Christian McCaffrey. So I don't know. I understand people's inclination, and I know like that this is just how we watch sports as modern fans, I guess, is that we got to have somebody to blame at the end of the day. I feel like Shanny's taken a lot of that, and I just don't, I don't feel like it's necessarily deserved. Like you can't win the big one until you win the big one. And I feel like that is still somewhere out there in his future. I mean, shoot, they made it this far with like a 24-year-old quarterback who, a little bit up and down in the game, but I thought Purdy in overtime was awesome. I realize they don't punctuate that drive with a touchdown, but the completion to McCaffrey when Purdy was just getting engulfed was super impressive. The completion to Juszczyk when he just bought a lot of time and space, I thought that was great. Like, some really nice moments to build on there.
You're right. It's just the way we consume this stuff as sports fans that, we got to have somebody to blame or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're not going to pitch it perfect in the Super Bowl. Andy Reid didn't pitch it perfect on the other side. And, I guess if they had lost this game, we'd come out of it being like, I don't know. I don't even know what we'd say. Cause that's the thing with the Kyle Shanahan, quote, discourse or whatever is, all right, what are you going to do about it? Like, you're not going to fire Kyle Shanahan, so what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. Maybe the Niners bottom out someday and they do part ways, and then he goes and wins the Super Bowl with, I don't know, some other team, just like Andy Reid is doing now with Kansas City. I don't know. Again, he's 44 years old. We got a long way to go in the Shanahan story. I agree with you that there were inspired moments. I definitely think there are things you can second guess. I think there are things that he will second guess for his entire life, from all of these Super Bowl losses. And he's certainly second guessing today. There's no question about it.